Hello again, I'm back today to discuss how RWBY uses semblance and themes of strength to compare and contrast two figures, namely Yang and Adam. Many thanks to Better Humble Goon and Yanging Around on Tumblr for their meta that helped make this possible, and as always, thank you to my wonderful patrons for helping make these videos possible. Now, on to the video. Now, we know Yang, the heart of Team RWBY, RWBY's elder sister and oftentimes caretaker throughout their childhood, everyone's friend, and the Yang to Blake's Ying, bringing light into her life, as noted by Volume 2's own commentary. And similarly, we know Adam, the false face of the White Fang, the quisling who betrayed his own kind out of fear and then a lust for blood and power, who tried to drag Blake down to his level and destroy her before she escaped him in the Black trailer. There are indeed many villains Yang can be compared and contrasted against in her decision to do good where they use their pain as a justification to harm, but no one else stands in such stark contrast to her as Adam. One of the most direct examples of this narratively is in Volume 5, where Blake describes Yang as strength, and we see Adam arguing about how he views his attack on Beacon as a sign of strength, only to have his claim shredded by Sienna Khan. The theme of strength also comes up in regards to matters of forgiveness with Ilya and in Yang's argument with Raven, and is carried forward into Volume 6, with Maria referencing how despite suffering a similar trauma to herself, Yang carried forward rather than hide. Given Adam explicitly sought Blake out for revenge despite him having been the one to harm her, while in contrast Yang doesn't take her hurt out on Blake, and I think this thematic resonance speaks for itself. As to their individual characters as opposed to overarching themes of strength, we have events like in Volume 3, where Blake directly makes a comparison between her former and current partner, fearing Yang to be heading down the same path he did thanks to their similar surface traits such as semblances. This was in error, of course, due to Yang having been framed and her occasional flares of anger, which are always directed and controlled safely as a release valve for stress, brushing up against her trauma from Adam's abuse and gleeful violence, which he disguised as righteous anger. In this, Yang is a perfect follower to Adam. Adam who used his partner as a shield while he readied his semblance. Adam who built his fighting style around its use versus creating weapons that enhance it but don't rely on it. Adam who refuses to risk himself or suffer damage in order to gain power but will use others' strength viciously and destructively, whether to enhance himself or simply lash out. As a comparison, Yang's semblance really is a perfect bit of writing. She never got to have an outlet for her negative emotions when she was growing up. She always had to be strong for her family. As established in V1 when RWBY discusses Yang always being the one to read her bedtime stories, V2 with Yang's backstory to Blake, and V5 with Weiss, where in both instances she makes a point of noting how she's the one who had to keep the family together. The song Gold also makes reference to her role in this regard to the point where the line, "Like the smell of a rose on a summer's day, I will be there to take all your fears away," shows how she tried to model herself after Summer for RWBY's benefit. In essence, Yang deals with all her loss and her pain by bottling it up, bearing the brunt of the harm for others, and then aiming it all at whoever is posing a threat and letting it go. Her semblance is literally the power to endure a beating and turn it into her strength. In essence, it's a very selfless use of pain and anger, one that she only ever uses constructively, to protect, because that is a central pillar of Yang's identity and what serves to contrast her against Adam, making him a foil to her and vice versa. Adam used pain as a pretext to indulge in violence and seek power, even using as a tool for manipulation against those who bore no responsibility for his wound. Meanwhile, in Yang's reckoning, you never use your pain as an excuse to be a bad person. You take it and you make something good from it. It's what Yang did as a child when she saw a void in her family that needed to be filled to keep everyone together and afloat, and it's what she still does now. And that is that. Sorry it's a bit of a short one this week, but I wanted to get right to the point. Now, as usual, if you want to help out with my work, please feel free to swing by my Patreon, where you can get previews for upcoming stories, videos, and stuff along those lines. Or just hit up my Ko-fi, where you can commission me to do 3D art, or even potentially pay for episodes. Thanks for stopping by.